Coming up now is another sparkling Two Mikes podcast.
This is Talk Sport Extra Time. I'm Mike Graham. He's Mike Parry. We are the Two Mikes. A very good morning to you, Mr. Parry. You must be full of the joys of spring after another sparkling performance from Mr. Barclay.
You said that with a mocking sneer on your face.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because you're always going on about what a great player he is.
Hang on. Here, I'll take you back 10 years.
You should be happy now.
I will take you back 10 years.
Yeah, go on.
And 10 years ago, I was telling everybody that Wayne Rooney was the footballer of the future and the greatest
wrote a book about
greatest England footballer we had. Yes, I did, actually.
Somebody tweeted over the weekend, by the way. They spotted it again on Amazon.
And it was a joke, of course.
Just 1 penny.
No, it was a joke. It
Still
was a joke.
available for Christmas stocking fillers.
No, didn't you read the small print? It said that on Amazon you can bid up to down to 1 penny for anything, but it doesn't sell at that price, of course.
Doesn't it? No.
It then gets people then bid.
Do you get a report frequently of the sales?
Yes,
then?
I do. Yes.
How's it going?
Healthy.
Yeah, coming up to Christmas, people are buying it for the
healthy.
Yeah.
But you know, exactly the same is happening to Ross Barkley now as happened to Wayne Rooney. But I, once again, am having to beat the drum to get the English public to accept that Ross Barkley is the greatest footballer. Now, I don't really care whether that goal tonight is eventually credited as an own goal or not. I mean, it shouldn't be, because, of course, Barkley was the force and the power behind the goal, and that's precisely the point of that goal. That goal was nothing to do with the fact that it slightly touched a QPR defender before it went in. That goal was all about the build-up, the power, the persuasion, the vision, the nous, the initiative, the intelligence, the hard work.
Well, that good.
Yes, it was. The hard work.
Steady on.
And
the goal of the season now, suddenly.
Yeah, well, it was
a deflection, wasn't it?
The sheer force of the shot. It only took 0.7 seconds from leaving his foot to hitting the back of the goal, and it went at 67 miles an hour.
Right.
That is phenomenal for a football.
Is it?
To be struck by... Well, he struck it... Well, he's actually bi-footed. But the fact that he hit... Yeah. But
I've never heard that phrase before. Is that a new one?
No. It's a standard English language word.
Bi-footed?
Yeah, I found it in my electronic dictionary.
And
you know, the fact that it was left foot but just to get himself into the position to do it and to actually look up, which is a great thing footballers don't do in these days. Footballers are always looking at the ground, looking at the feet, but to look up and actually say, I'm going to try for it, you know, and bang, off it went, was phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, like
utterly phenomenal.
I was sure that you'd be very, very enthusiastic
very
and
pleased.
happy about it.
Yeah, great. And
it's quite a significant moment, I think, for Liverpool to be sort of leapfrogged by Everton, going up into 10th and pushing Liverpool down into the bottom half of the league.
Well, this Bournemouth game is going to be incredibly exciting, isn't it? My family live down in Bournemouth, and Bournemouth, the Cherries, you know, I mean, over the years when I've gone down to Bournemouth, I've always had a bit of a joke about how the Cherries doing, you know. Anybody been to see the Cherries today and all that? Well, the Cherries are top of the Championship. It's an absolute phenomenon.
I mean, who would you rather be a member of a team that's going into a game like that, supposed underdogs having won 5-0 at the weekend, or having lost heavily to your biggest rival?
Well, absolutely, and you know, there's a lot more to come. You know, you'll look through tomorrow morning's papers before the end of your show tonight, and one paper in particular is saying that the owners at Liverpool, who, you know, don't have a lot of time for those who waste money, they are very, very cute businessmen, are actually now going to question what's called the buying committee.
Yes.
So they're not saying it was all Brendan Rodgers' fault, wasting the £117 million.
There's a committee that came up with this, is there?
Well, apparently Inez, who is the chief executive of Liverpool, is a member of the committee, and 2 other people and Brendan Rodgers.
Right.
You know, I think the youth development officer might be in there, and a director of football or something like that.
Well, it's actually worse than they're not just very, very good with money. They actually, their whole Moneyball scenario is about buying players in who are going to improve to the extent that they can then sell them on for a lot more money.
Maybe, but we're not here to criticise Liverpool. That's a matter for Liverpool Football Club. On the issue of Lewis Hamilton...
What are we here for?
Well, we're here really to focus on the issues that matter to our listeners. We have millions of them.
Yes.
Their lives are enhanced by an ability to focus on the situation which shapes and colours their lives.
You're doing that speaking slowly to you again.
No,
which always worries me slightly.
No.
So it means you're still trying to work out what you're about to say.
No, not at all. I speak more slowly to make sure that you absorb the technical requirements of what I'm trying to get across to you.
Enunciating the words.
Yeah. Yes. Now, on the old Lewis Hamilton thing, right?
Yes.
One thing people have forgotten here, and you've tried to make a point of it, but as usual, you've fallen short with your knowledge, OK? What are you laughing at?
Why do you turn it into something against me?
No.
You can't resist that, can you?
1798, that's what I say about Lewis Hamilton.
1798?
1798,
Why?
the year.
What happened in 1798?
William Pitt the Younger was the Prime Minister. Do you know how young he was when he became Prime Minister?
He was only about 21 or something.
24.
24
when he became Prime Minister. And what was the biggest...
Who was William Pitt the Older?
That was his dad. And what was the biggest thing that William Pitt did during his first tenure as Prime Minister?
I don't know. What did he do?
He introduced, for the first time ever in this country, for the first time in 1798 years since the birth of Jesus Christ, he introduced income tax.
Did he?
Income tax is the issue which keeps Lewis Hamilton abroad.
Are you saying there was no income tax before
There
1798?
was no income tax whatsoever before 1798.
Okay.
You didn't pay taxes, and we should not pay income tax to this day.
But there were taxes all the way through the history of this country. I mean, that was one of the reasons to fund all the wars and all that.
The very reason William Pitt the Younger introduced it in 1798 was the start of the Napoleonic Wars, which, incidentally, I'm going to get to in a minute, 1815, another date in our history, which is being scandalously overlooked.
Is it?
When we come to the 200th anniversary next year, scandalously overlooked.
Okay.
But I'll get to that in a minute,
All
okay?
right.
But what I'm saying to you is, it was introduced in 1798 to fund the Napoleonic Wars. For the first time ever, we had to buy munitions from private companies. You know, the government just ran out of money to fund them.
Yeah.
So we started an income tax. It was a temporary income tax.
Right.
Have you ever known a tax to be temporary?
Well, it's like those times when they put the temporary tolls on to supposedly pay for a road or a bridge, but they always keep them going afterwards, even when they paid for it, don't they?
Didn't Boris Johnson one time, when he was campaigning as Mayor of London, say, well, don't worry, when I get in, I'll get rid of the congestion charge?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and what's happened?
He put it up.
Exactly.
And then he expanded the area in which you would pay.
Exactly, absolutely. It started off as £6, that congestion charge. It's now nearly double that.
The problem with all governments is that they spend too much money, they waste too much money.
Of course they do.
They need money constantly, and their only source of income is us.
Yeah, I totally agree. So what I'm saying is, Lewis Hamilton has every right to go and live abroad. I completely agree with you on that. And what that should do is, Mr Cameron, the Prime Minister, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osborne, should look at why Lewis Hamilton has to go and live abroad in a more favourable tax situation and conclude that actually, if we charge less taxes here, more people like Lewis Hamilton would come back and live here. Yeah. We'd be a more productive country. We'd be able to say that country fit for heroes, like Lewis Hamilton is, in my view. Yeah. But I still believe that Rory should have been Sports Personality of the Year.
I mean, maybe he'll have other opportunities. What do you make of the argument that people went off Rory McIlroy, partly because he treated Caroline Wozniacki in a rather, unchivalrous way? The other thing people say, of course, is that he's now, because he's willing to play for Ireland in the Olympics.
Yeah, but the poor boy was torn one way and t'other with that. He couldn't win in that situation. Yeah. And he was brought up on the island of Ireland, even though he's brought up in the United Kingdom, because, of course, he's from the 6 counties of the 9 counties of the province of Ulster, which is Northern Ireland. Sorry, problem getting those words out. Which is
how's the health, by the way?
Oh, the health's very good indeed.
I don't know why my voice suddenly went up when I said that.
And of course, I was going to tell you tonight about my new health regime, which involves charcoal tablets, which are very, very...
Oh, it's not actually eating charcoal then. So I thought you were going to come in and start munching charcoal.
Well, to all intents and purposes, it is. I mean, it's charcoaled pills. Charcoaled. Yeah,
that sounds like something Sven would say.
No.
Charcoaled.
No. Have you noticed, by the way, that many people in this country now are starting to pronounce Louis van Gaal's name properly?
I can say nothing other than the fact that you were in many ways a visionary on
Thank you, visionary on it. And did you mock me like other people when
it
started?
We've still got that message, if we can find it, from that Dutch journalist.
Exactly.
Who said that this is the correct way to pronounce it. I'm hoping we can hear that in a minute. But actually, his version of the Louis van Gaal is not that different from yours.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. And anyway, just getting to the Rory and Lewis Hamilton thing. Yes. Don't you think Rory McIlroy will have teams and teams and teams of accountants who are trying to save as much of his money as possible on these massive deals that he does? I mean, you're talking about here about $20 million sponsorship deals per year and all this kind of stuff. Rory McIlroy would be mad to give that away to crazy, useless, hopeless, incompetent politicians who waste all that money. That's all they do.
Of course.
If they invest it in the country so that we're as economically efficient as China, I wouldn't mind paying taxes, but I object to paying taxes to people who waste them.
But also, is it not ridiculous, this whole kind of myth, which is peddled by these kind of left-wingers who say that, everybody who's rich basically is the personification of evil, and they should basically hand all their money to the government, and they don't, for 1 second, actually criticise what the government does with it.
Who was the famous man who said, "You will not make the poor better off by making the rich poorer"?
It was actually not a famous man at all. It was Margaret Thatcher.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
She did say that.
She took that from an American president. She took it from it was somebody like George Washington.
Somebody like George Washington.
Or it could have been the guy who came after George Washington, whose name is the middle name of my friend Bill Clinton. Jefferson. Could have been Thomas Jefferson. I think it was Thomas Jefferson.
Really?
I think it was Thomas Jefferson who said
Margaret Thatcher
you don't make the poor rich by making the rich poorer. That's the exact quote. Okay?
It's a good
and I
quote.
agree with that.
All right, look into the light for a minute. Look at the time.
I object to all my money being taken off me and wasted by incompetence.
Listen to this.
Louis van Gaal.
This is TalkSport Extra Time. We are the two Mikes. He's Mike Parry. I'm Mike Graham. We've got an awful lot to talk about. I've got a couple of comments here. Andy in Falkirk says this at the text number 81089. Barefooted, he says, Porky is the only man who can get both feet in his mouth at the same time.
What?
Barefooted.
That's what you mean. Yeah. I do not think that is accurate.
An old Tam Milton in Glasgow says, I spotted your book at a sale at my local garage. I was told by the worker there that they're considering pulping the remaining 20,000 unsold copies, so I understand it's not going too well.
That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, it's very harsh.
Harsh. I get regular reports from the publishers, and believe me, healthy.
Are they still going to publishers then? They didn't go under as a result of publishing your book.
It's supposed to be a joke?
Well, just asking.
At my expense again?
At my expense again? Question.
At my expense. Now, listen, I was going to tell you about Waterloo, wasn't I?
You were.
Now, this is very, very important. It's very important to our country. It's very important to our children at school. Now, there is an education secretary.
There is.
And her name is Nicky Morgan, right? She seems to be reluctant to get together with an organisation called Waterloo 200, which is a charity, and it's organising anniversary events, and it wants to introduce teaching materials into schools to commemorate the Battle of Waterloo 200 years next year. Okay?
Are they not going to have some kind of big to-do about it down in Portsmouth or something like that?
No.
Really?
No. Well,
I mean, because all we seem to do now is do commemorations and centenaries.
Yeah, but that's all right, mate, if we're all on the same side, if you see what I mean, like the First World War and all that kind of stuff, okay? But it's not all right if we're not on the same side with the French, right? Now, I believe that there's a combination of things here that's happening. I believe that the government, led by Mr Cameron and our Foreign Secretary is Mr Hague, right? You got that?
Yes.
William Hague. I don't think they want to upset...
William Hague's not the Foreign Secretary anymore.
No, he's not, is he? Who is it? Who is it?
Isn't it Mr Hunt now?
Is it Hunt?
Yeah.
OK, well, he's so impressive that I can't even remember who he is.
That's the problem.
Seriously, yeah. But the point is, right, there's two things. It's coming from both sides of the political spectrum. I believe the senior politicians do not want to get into a situation where we're celebrating something which, in essence, was a victory over the French. And, of course, Napoleon. It put flight to Napoleon. He ended up on St Helena, where he died because of his wallpaper. His wallpaper...
Yes, I remember you explained that before.
Yeah, his wallpaper poisoned him and killed him. The nitric acid in the wallpaper emitted fumes which killed Napoleon from cancer. And I don't think that senior politicians want to get into that because we're in the EU.
Right.
And at the same time, I believe there's an element amongst the teaching...
Hang on. I mean, we're in the EU and we're commemorating the 100th anniversary of the First World War.
Yeah, I know, but you see, we and the French are on the same side there. You see what I mean?
Right.
We don't seem to
So
celebrate
it's a French thing then?
I'm saying it's a French thing. I'm saying because we've got a train now that goes under the English Channel. I'm saying that because now...
The Eurostar.
The Eurostar, because we now...
You've been on the Eurostar, by the way.
Yeah, of course I have, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what
I haven't, you know.
Oh, Gare du Nord is fantastic when you get there in Paris.
I've been on the car one.
Except
I've been on the shuttle.
I'm told it's turned into a bit of a dump now, the Gare du Nord. Bit of a ramshackle, ramshackle, not ramshackle, a ramshackle sort of, pitch tent place and all that. Yeah. Well, somebody told me today they went to Paris via Ebbsfleet. So you drive your car to Ebbsfleet.
Yeah, that's like Ashford down there.
That's right. You park it, and then you jump on the train, and in 2 hours you're in Paris.
Less than that, 25 minutes.
But I thought you said you hadn't been on the Eurostar.
No, I haven't been on the Eurostar. I've been on the train that you put your car on, which is not the same thing.
Oh, what is that
It's a different train.
No, they didn't put their car on the train. They got on the Eurostar at Ebbsfleet.
Oh, okay.
And then they came back and got off and got into their car. You see what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, look, we need to talk about Waterloo.
Took the car over. You put the car on the train, and it comes up at Calais.
We need to talk about Waterloo.
We are talking about Waterloo.
Yeah. The other thing is, I believe there's an element amongst the teaching unions who don't want to celebrate it because they believe that patriotism is wrong. They believe that, raising a battle cry for the great military victories of this country is
somehow
dangerous to their children, which is a load of nonsense. We should be celebrating our great achievements.
Well, they're all very nervous about history, aren't they? Because history is told by different people through different eyes.
Not only that, but apparently anything that we've done in the past must be brushed out of the lives of children now.
Airbrushed out of history.
Yeah, airbrushed out of history because, patriotism and nationalism is a dirty word.
So it's just going to be another campaign of yours then?
Well, it's going to be a campaign. I'm going to campaign to celebrate Waterloo throughout the whole of 2015. Every day I'll be rattling the sabre, literally, to celebrate Waterloo. Now, the thing is...
I hope it's more successful than your Tommy the Chimp campaign.
Your lack of support for that Tim campaign you'll never be forgiven for that, I'm telling you. To leave a monkey in a cage, a chimp in a cage in New York without any feelings about it. Anyway, getting back to Waterloo, I would like to say to those elements of the teaching union who feel that, politically...
Well, how do you know that they do feel like this? You're just assuming this,
No, I have very high political contacts.
Have you got some moles in there, like you have in the military intelligence?
Yeah, I understand these things. Things. And what I was going to say is, I would say this. Look, don't you understand that, yes, the men who led us to Waterloo, which was massively successful, by the way, massively successful, were toffs who were brought up on the playing fields of Eton. But don't you realise the poor bloody infantry was the working man of this country?
Yes. It was ever thus, wasn't it?
Don't you realise that the working men of this country produced the ropes for Nelson's ships, the guns for the battlefields at Waterloo, the ammunition that supplied those guns, the transport that got us there, all made and built by the great British working man. It was a working man's victory. It wasn't a victory of the toffs. It wasn't a victory of the generals. It was a victory for the poor bloody cavalry, and the poor bloody cavalry is the working man of Great Britain.
All right, calm down. Okay. Well, there's plenty of time for us to organise this campaign, and maybe I'll help you with this one, which would guarantee its success, as opposed to most of your campaigns, which end in failure.
I mean, if Waterloo hadn't happened and we hadn't struck that great victory, there would be no Waterloo Station just round the corner here from TalkSport Towers.
What do you think they'd call it?
Well, I don't know, but it wouldn't be called Waterloo, mate, if there hadn't been a battle at Waterloo, would it?
I suppose not.
No, there wouldn't have been a hit record called Waterloo by ABBA, who, by the way, have refused to endorse the celebration next year with their record. They're refusing to I don't know why.
I don't think they thought it was a song commemorating a battle,
no,
did they?
Somebody's got to them. Somebody's got to them. There wouldn't be things like...
Well, they're famously neutral, aren't they, the Swedes?
Yeah, they are, actually, yeah. There wouldn't be a place called Waterlooville down in Hampshire near to my coastal retreat, which is a lovely little town where the soldiers from the Battle of Waterloo came back and settled. And there wouldn't be, is it Waterloo Road, the TV
series? There is a show called Waterloo Road.
There you go.
It's all about teachers, isn't it?
It is about teachers,
funny enough. Full circle.
Funny enough, it is. It is about teachers. And the other thing is, there wouldn't be any false teeth without Waterloo.
False teeth?
Yeah, false teeth. You know that what happened was so many soldiers were killed. I mean, you're talking about tens of thousands of men killed there. What happened was looters the next day went and looted the bodies of anything valuable, a watch or, a silver... cigarette holder or something like that.
A silver cigarette holder?
Yeah.
You're saying it was not the toffs then? Oh, well, I'll just put my silver cigarette holder down while I'm getting bludgeoned to death by someone from the bloody infantry.
No, you know what I'm talking about there. And what these looters did is they started
Who were the looters then? Were they French?
Yeah, mostly French and Belgian, because it happened in Belgium.
Right.
And they came along and they took all the teeth out of the dead, and they sent them all back to England. Yeah, and what they did is they got crescent.
Why would you do that?
Well, because they've got crescent-shaped pieces of wood and knocked the teeth into them, and they were the world's first ever false teeth. They came from the battlefield of Waterloo. That was the start of the false teeth industry, which of course is gigantic around the world today.
It certainly is.
I mean, look, you don't have false teeth these days. You have implants. You have them. Mind you, they cost £5,000 a time.
Well, I think some people still have false, like dentures. Yeah, they still
no,
have
I don't think they do.
Oh, they do. Yeah,
do
absolutely.
they? I don't think so. I don't think anybody has dentures these days.
Yes, they do. People can't afford to have teeth screwed into their
jaw.
Well,
I mean...
It's very expensive.
Well, yeah, we'll have crowns or something like that, but very few. I mean, you don't see that sort of, joke-like quacking false teeth type thing in a glass jar next to people's beds anymore, do you?
Well, it's not that you'd never see that, but I'm convinced that still goes on.
I don't think it does. But for all those reasons, we should be celebrating next year Waterloo, and I mean this quite sincerely, Mike.
And what's the date we should be celebrating it on?
Well, you celebrate it throughout the year because, of course...
What's the actual date of the battle?
Well, it's hard to say.
You don't know, do you?
Yes, of course I do. It was over 4 days, but the build-up to the battle, because I don't think you should alone commemorate the actual 4 days of the Battle of Waterloo itself, because the battle against Napoleon went on for nearly 2
what
years.
Month at least
and
is it
many
in?
many men were killed along the way.
What month is it in?
Well, it doesn't matter, Mike. I don't want to get into specifics, because then you're ignoring the
Well,
contribution.
no, surely you should know if you're going to spearhead a campaign. What are we building up to? What month are we building up to?
It was on June the 18th.
Oh, you've had enough time to read it now.
No, I haven't had enough time to read it. I haven't got anything to read here. I know that. I know that, and I've known it for years because my mother's birthday is just 4 days. 4 days.
You don't know when that is either,
Of course
do you?
I do. It's 4 days.
Before or after?
July the
Your
10th.
poor mother.
Yeah.
Poor
June
woman.
the 14th is my mother's birthday, and
June the 14th.
yes, that's right. So I've always known that the Battle of Waterloo was on June the 18th because I always commemorated it 4 days after I sent my mother a birthday card. Okay?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely
It's not
shocking.
amazing. It's not amazing. That's how you compartmentalise
just
your
look at the
life.
time. Look at
That's
the
how I
time.
compartmentalise my
Yeah,
life.
well, compartmentalise your mouth for a minute because
What?
it's that time, and it's time to look into the light. We are the two mics, loads more to come. This is TalkSport Extra Time. I'm Mike Graham. He is Mike Parry. There'll be a podcast coming out a little bit later on in the day. What about poor Nigel Adkins getting the bullet? I suppose he's used to it now, isn't he?
Well, I think that's a bit harsh for you to say that because I think most football fans would agree with me that his sacking from Southampton was very, very unjust.
I don't think so at all.
In those days, he'd done a very good
Southampton
job.
have gone from strength to strength since they got rid
Well,
of him.
funny you should say that, but they have actually. But I mean, at the time, a lot of people thought that was a terrible mistake that he was doing well.
Well, no, because they were being
and-
sentimental about it. And the point about football, as you well
yeah.
know, is that it's not a sentimental game, and people shouldn't be sentimental about it. And actually, Southampton have done much better since, because he did fantastically well to get them where he got them.
Yeah, I agree.
But then it was time to get somebody else.
Yeah, but they're on the slide now, Southampton.
Well, they are a bit.
And guess
aren't they?
who's going to see them on Saturday?
Who?
Everton.
Are you going?
Of course I'll be there. Of
So
course
you're
I-
going to Southampton, are you?
Yes, of course I am,
Oh,
yes.
right, okay.
Yeah, why?
It'll be the first game of the season you've been to, apart from Spurs, then, right?
Well, you've probably forgotten that we were at Spurs because you
I
consumed
almost
so
forgotten
much.
about it, yeah. I've always forgotten.
Sauvignon Blanc,
in the second time you've been to see him, then.
Well, does it matter? I mean,
Well,
I
think so.
Does it matter? I mean, do I have to boast about my credentials?
Not
I don't
at all.
think so.
I don't think you
think
should.
so. After 50 odd years of supporting the club, but that's another issue altogether. Now,
Listen, let me read you
yes,
this from Scottish
yes.
Craig, who's
Okay.
texted in to 81089. He says, I've got a full set of dentures. I'm 28. I do the whole quackers. Tell him to stop talking rubbish.
Really?
Yeah.
I find that what a man of 28's got
Yeah.
a full mouth of dentures.
Yeah.
How very odd.
Yeah, bizarre, isn't it?
I wonder
Chris
what happened.
says-
Did he have his teeth knocked out or
I don't
something?
know. He doesn't say.
Perhaps he got assaulted, or maybe I don't know.
Maybe just had very bad teeth.
I tell you what, I mustn't make light of this. The poor boy's probably had some sort of
they do
problem
say
with
the
his,
Scots have
his
some of the
gums
worst teeth in the world.
and all that kind of stuff, and had to have his teeth replaced. So good luck to you, my friend, and I hope your mouth is okay.
Well, I think his mouth is fine.
Yeah.
He's telling us he's got dentures.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
like
okay.
he's suffering
Okay.
any other way. Chris says, to add to Porky's list of things that wouldn't have been, there would have been no Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks.
Absolutely right. That's a very good point indeed.
Yeah.
Dirty old river.
That's the one. And
But
somebody
you
else
know
points
what?
out that Philip Hammond is the Foreign Secretary.
Philip Hammond, yes, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, I knew he was. He's such a giant on the world stage. How could I possibly have missed that?
Now, tell us about these charcoal tablets.
Yeah, by the way, you know that Waterloo Sunset, the Kinks?
Yes.
I read somewhere a suggestion that Ray Davis, the genius lead singer and songwriter of the Kinks,
Right.
wrote that when he was overlooking the River Mersey, when he was in hospital in Liverpool on tour.
So nothing to do with Waterloo, then?
Well, I don't know.
I always assumed he wrote it about
I don't
London.
know, because another mate of mine, who is a huge Kinks fan, said no, he was in St Thomas's Hospital overlooking the River Thames.
Oh, yeah?
But I definitely did read somewhere in some biographical history of the 60s and all that he transferred it to the Thames because that's his hometown, London. They were a London group, not a Merseyside group.
So did it start? Was it a bit like Yesterday? Then it started off with different lyrics.
Well, I don't think so. I don't know. But anyway, look, the truth of that will come out probably in years to come.
What would be a three-syllable place name in Liverpool that it could have been instead of Waterloo?
Well, it could be, Merseyside Magic.
Merseyside, yeah, could have been. Merseyside Sunset.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have had the same ring to it, really, would it?
Sunset. It could be Merseyside Sunset, absolutely right, yeah, But anyway, there we are. Now these charcoal tablets, right,
yes,
which are helping me readjust my body for the festive season.
What is good about these things?
Well, what's good about them is that they literally regulate all the systems of your body into one, and they make you feel less hungry.
Do they?
Yeah, they do have.
Do they taste of charcoal?
No, they taste of coconut because they're made from coconut shells.
Really?
What happens is you smash up coconuts, right? Get rid of all the white stuff in the middle, chuck all that away.
The good stuff.
No,
well, you can use that. You can eat that, can't you?
I suppose somebody eats it. Yeah.
Have you never eaten coconut?
Well, I've eaten a Bounty.
It's not the same as that.
No, I think it is. I like a Bounty. I like that sort of softness, and you get into the coconut. But it's shredded coconut, isn't it? I mean,
is.
Nobody in the right mind would eat proper coconut. Do you know when we were kids?
No, you can. I mean, when you go to the fair and you bring a coconut home, and you cut it open, and scoop out what's inside. It's nice.
I was about to say, when we were kids, right, we come back from the fair with a coconut, and my dad would then get his drill out and drill 2 holes in the top of the coconut.
And you drink the milk.
Drink the milk from the coconut.
Yeah, we used to do that
Amazing.
as well.
That's amazing,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I tried to do that actually myself. I couldn't do it.
What do you mean?
Well, I tried to hammer into a nail into it so that I could
A
open
nail?
it. Yeah.
Well, why didn't you get a drill?
I didn't have a drill to hand, and I'm not a great DIY person. So
No,
I
neither
probably
am I.
wouldn't really use a
Neither
drill.
am I,
But
no.
I thought, well, I could probably hammer a nail into it.
Absolutely.
And get it that way, but I couldn't break the shell.
Anyway, what you do is...
Sorry to interrupt your story.
No, that's okay, don't worry. So take all the white stuff out, and then you've got the shell, then you smash that up into little pieces, and then you charcoal it, on a grill or something like that. Yeah, burn it until
Barbecue it.
Until it's black.
Right.
And then you crush it into dust, but then you put it into a machine that turns that into tablets, okay? And then you eat the tablets, you take the tablets, 2 a day.
Doesn't sound very safe.
No, it's very safe indeed. It regulates all your body. It turns solids into liquid inside your body. So it liquidates...
Doesn't sound good.
It liquidates a lot of solid foods and all that kind of stuff, okay? It relieves you of excess. It tells you when to stop eating.
Does it?
Yeah, it allows your blood flow.
You seem more kind of perky than I've seen you for a while.
Well, maybe that's because my charcoal tablets are working, okay? It's also available as a stomach cleaner. And it can
Stomach cleaner?
stomach cleaners, clean out your stomach and all that kind of
It's like a detox, is what
it's like a detox, like a sort of irrigation type thing. And also, since the tablets became so popular, I understand now the manufacturers are going into producing biscuits, charcoal biscuits,
Really?
charcoal juice drink, be like black, you know what I mean?
I imagine it would be.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff, and even charcoal cakes. So
How bizarre.
They put it into dough and start. Yeah, but it's fantastic. It relieves bloatation, and all that kind of stuff.
Bloatation?
Yeah, absolutely. And makes you feel, as you quite rightly have just pointed out, younger, more healthier, lots more energy and all that kind of stuff. It is, honestly, believe me...
Technically more healthy, you should say, rather than more healthier.
Yes, that's right, yeah. For me, it is absolutely a winner. Now, I can't say it'd be a winner for everybody because different people react differently to certain ingestants.
And also, considering all the other stuff that you put into your body on a daily basis, are you sure that it's actually, it's not going to be in some way clashing with all of those other pills?
No, not at all.
Is it complementary?
What I found out is...
Bloatation device.
Yeah. What I found out is it's been around... since the days of the Aztecs, okay?
Yeah.
And once again, I think it might have been imported into this country by one of our 2 great adventurers and explorers, Sir Francis Drake or Sir Walter Raleigh.
Oh, really?
By the way, I believe I'm right in saying this.
It was Raleigh who brought tobacco back from America, wasn't it?
It was Raleigh, you're absolutely right. But I believe I'm right in saying...
That would be a first.
Excuse me. I'll ignore that. That this week is the anniversary of the first voyage of...
Sinbad?
No. It's either Sir Francis Drake or Sir Walter Raleigh. I think it's Sir Walter Raleigh. I believe it's Sir Walter Raleigh.
Okay.
But I will check on that and I'll fill you in on Thursday.
I've checked on your story about the Kinks.
Right.
And here's some quotes from Ray Davies
in
a 2010 interview.
Yeah.
He says, I didn't think to make it about Waterloo initially, but I realised the place was so very significant in my life. I was in St Thomas's Hospital when I was really ill, which is just down the road here by Waterloo Station, when he had a tracheotomy when he was 13.
That's right.
The nurses would wheel me out on the balcony and said, look at the river. It was also about being taken down to the 1951 Festival of Britain.
Right.
It's about the 2 characters and the aspirations of my sister's generation who grew up during the Second World War. It's about the world I wanted them to have, that and then walking by the Thames with my first wife and the dreams that we had. So it's nothing to do with Liverpool at all.
No, I'm told.
No, these are his quotes.
Yeah, but he didn't write it at 13. He was 13 when he went into hospital, right?
But he wrote it about... He said, you've got the hospital mixed up. It was when he was in St Thomas's Hospital.
I said St Thomas's Hospital. I told you it was in Thomas's Hospital.
You said it was in Liverpool.
I said that he was in hospital in Liverpool when they were on tour. and that's when the idea fermented in his head. However, it could have been...
Well, he hasn't mentioned that.
No, it could have been. He was lying in bed in a hospital in Liverpool thinking about being in a hospital in London.
We got the sound of the backtracking for Falky's backtracking away from this one.
No.
You got it completely wrong.
No. I don't believe I got it completely wrong. I offered options to our listeners as to the source of the record.
Yeah.
And the record, of course. Anyway, we're getting away from the subject here. I want to know whether the listeners are going to support me in my campaign that next year, 2015, we should be celebrating the anniversary of the greatest battle in this country. It led to utter and total domination of the seas. Britannia rules the waves. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at this picture that somebody sent me.
Why?
I've been getting these all day.
What is it?
Massive mountain of Ferrero Rocher chocolates.
Okay, yeah.
Ever since you said that there was some kind of massive shortage going on, all I've got is piles and piles. This is actually a mountain of Ferrero Rocher, which is now available in any shop.
Do you know
this
what?
Is after you said there was a shortage of, first of all, walnuts.
Yeah.
Then it turned out to be hazelnuts.
Hazelnuts,
Then it turned out to be not true at all.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when I told you about this story, there was a shortage, right?
There wasn't.
And I deliberately...
There has been.
I deliberately, that night, if you remember, refused to take a picture of you eating the Ferrero Rochers that I brought in, because you ate them all, didn't you?
Eh?
You ate them all.
I had 4 of them.
Rubbish. I left the glass box on your desk here when I went home.
Colleagues at the office.
Oh, you gave my sweets away.
Well, I didn't presume you weren't coming back for them.
Oh, really? Yeah, I see, yeah. But what I'm saying is I deliberately didn't take a picture of you stuffing your mouth with them because I didn't want people to say, oh, well, you know, there's old MG stuffing these down his face, and I didn't want people to be provoked into sending pictures of the odd box of Ferrero Rocher they might have seen in their local garage or something like that. You know?
Piles of them.
Well, I mean...
Everywhere you go, there's piles and piles of them.
I think there has been a resurgence in the hazelnut plant, and I think it has helped, yeah, because they manufactured very, very quickly, you know, from the time that they picked those hazelnuts, time to get them into the chocolates and all that. But that's another story. You're getting away again from Waterloo.
Here's one from James, who's tweeted in at Mike Parrier at IRMG, quoting you, he says, I would always commemorate the Battle of Waterloo 4 days after sending my mother a birthday card. He says, Parry, you're a legend.
Yeah. Well, what's wrong with that?
Because nobody else behaves like that.
What do you mean nobody else
Your behaviour is very strange.
No,
nobody else commemorates the Battle of Waterloo after sending their mother a birthday card. It's just very odd.
No, it's not odd at all.
It's very strange.
I think it's, it shows my deep affection for my mother to link her to one of the greatest battles in the history of this great country of ours.
Right. I hope you're going to send me a Christmas card, by the way, after you sent her one.
I'm going to tell the audience next about your Christmas card.
OK. Coming up next, more from the Two Bites. Russ in Birkenhead says there is an area of Liverpool called Waterloo.
Of course there is.
Although I know this isn't the one in the song.
Yeah, well, no, it's not, but there is an area called Waterloo.
Well, you didn't know that. When I asked you if there was a 3-syllable word that sounded like Waterloo, you said Merseyside.
Merseyside magic. But, I mean, you know...
well, you didn't say there was a place called Waterloo.
To be honest, it didn't even occur to me that there was. But now that you've told me there is, I know there is.
Of
course.
See
what I mean?
But you knew it already.
Yeah, of course I knew it already. I mean, listen, you know, there's an area of Nottingham called... what's it called?
I don't know.
No, here, West Bridgeford. But I mean, if we were talking about Bridgeford, I wouldn't automatically say to you, there's a place in Nottingham called Bridgeford.
It's not as famous as Waterloo.
No, well, I agree. It's not.
It's not a very good example.
No, it's not a very good example, but I couldn't think of anything else. Like in Birmingham,
presumably there's a place in Waterloo called Waterloo.
Spark Hill in Birmingham.
Spark Hill?
Spark Hill. There's a Spark Hill in Birmingham.
What's Spark Hill got to do?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, that's what I'm saying.
You're not coming up with any great... It's like, I'll tell you a better example, right?
Yeah, go on.
There's a Charing Cross in London. Where else is there a Charing Cross?
Charing Cross in Sydney.
Glasgow.
In Glasgow?
Yeah.
And in Sydney.
Charing Cross in Glasgow.
Yeah. Do you know in Sydney...
There's a Paddington in Sydney, isn't there?
Well, I was about to say, in Sydney, almost all the famous London names are replicated in Sydney.
Right.
So I think there's a Victoria. There's definitely a Paddington.
There's a Paddington, yeah.
I'm sure there's a Charing Cross.
Yeah.
It's air conditioning in here.
Anyway, just interesting that there's one in Glasgow.
There's a Lord Nelson pub, because I went there once with a mate of mine. And,
well, I'm sure you could name any number of places where there's a pub.
No, it's quite interesting, actually. It was a guy called Frank, who you and I both knew from our days in Fleet Street, you know?
Frank?
Yeah.
Frank Malley. Frank Thorne, yeah.
Yeah. And we were in the Lord Nelson and went there for lunch, you know. But we hadn't seen each other a while, so we got stuck in. And Frank came back to the place I was staying, which was the Hyatt on the Rocks. We had a few there as well. And eventually we had to put Frank in the bath because he wasn't very well. But the Australians do it brilliantly. I rang down and said, look, got a bit of a problem here with my... and by the way, I'm not telling the story against Frank. He's a great guy, and, you know, I've been in similar situations.
I'm sure he wouldn't object.
And you have. And I explained that, look, awfully sorry, you know, bit of a problem on the balcony and this kind of stuff, you know. And they said, don't worry, sir. They sent 4 people up, and within minutes they'd, swabbed the balcony and cleaned it, and with a mop and bucket. And then 4 of them picked Frank up out the bath and just carried him off. I didn't see him till the next day. Amazing.
Extraordinary. Now, what are you going to moan about my Christmas card? I bought you a Christmas card.
I'm not moaning. I'm not moaning. But look, thanks for the Christmas card. Very nice. It's a family one, and included on the picture are your 2 young lads. And it's very nice to see them and all that. But you've highlighted the dog because obviously we didn't want to subject your children to the sort of abuse they might suffer.
They would get abuse, yeah.
If they were identified as your kids. But I put the caption on this, Mike. This is old MG's dog on his annual Christmas card. Yes, the abused hound.
Yeah, the abandoned hound. Yeah, a lovely walk at the weekend. Actually, you would have appreciated this.
I heard you talking about
battlefield.
I heard you talking about it. So, and that's another reason why I was talking about Waterloo tonight. So you talked about walking across the Battle of Hastings, right? And I took it from the way you were talking to Andy and Jason that you had a sense of awe about it.
I did.
That you were looking around thinking this is where the battle took place.
And I did actually think of you because I know. I mean, I went. Funnily enough, the last time I was there, it was for the reenactment of the Battle of Hastings.
That's right, yeah.
Which was interesting.
Yeah.
But actually, in a way, it was better to be there when there was nothing there.
I agree.
Much better.
I agree. So you understand now perfectly the reason why I think we should be celebrating 200 years of Waterloo, because that started a period of dominance both at sea and on land, which lasted 100 years and took us to the very peak of world power, both economically, militarily, which of course is what a lot of the people today don't like. They didn't like us being a military power. They think somehow we went around the world wrecking places, when in fact, actually, my view is, being an historian, we actually created great wealth, created great societies.
Are you still going on about Waterloo, by the way?
What?
Are you still going on about Waterloo?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
But stop talking about Waterloo now.
Okay, because there are other things I want to talk to you about, actually, so we will get off Waterloo.
Yeah.
How much homework do your children do?
They do a lot of homework, actually.
Now, I asked
a lot
this
more
because
than they should do.
You've sent out your Christmas card, okay?
Yeah.
And it's a lovely card, and your 2 boys are sheltering in what do you call that sort of grate?
Well, actually, it's a wood burning stove in the middle of it. It's a fireplace, basically.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, and it's a big enough, and they're little enough to get in it, and then the dog's in the front. So it's a really great Christmas card. Well done.
Nothing to do with me, I hate to
and a family one, and a lovely one. But look, the reason I asked about that is the fact that I've become aware of a new study which says in this country the average pupil does 5 hours homework. A week. That's an hour a night. An hour a night. How does that rate for your children?
Well, I would say, I think as primary school kids go, because they're only 8 and 10, they get an awful lot of homework, funnily. I mean, the youngest one who's moved to a new school gets less now than he used to get.
Right.
But he used to get a lot of homework over the weekend, not every night.
How many hours would it take him?
Not more than, say, 45 minutes to an hour.
What, over a whole weekend?
Yeah, over the whole
weekend.
Well,
that's not a lot of homework, is it?
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, because kids have got lots of other things to do. How much homework do you want them to do?
Well, I did 2 or 3 hours a night when I was at the King's School, Chester.
Good, though, did it?
Of course, it did me a lot of good. I wouldn't have got where I am today if I hadn't done all that homework.
But that's a secondary school, though.
Yes, that's right, yeah, but I applied myself to my books.
I mean, I don't remember having any homework when I was at primary school.
Yeah, well, look what happened to you.
I'm talking primary school.
Primary school? Oh, yeah, we had homework at primary school.
Well, what sort of homework did you have?
Maths, English.
Right.
Read poetry.
Yeah, we know about your poetry.
Right. I can write poetry.
Yeah, I know.
I won the poetry prize.
I know. We've heard some of your
poetry in the school magazine.
I don't think the competition was much.
It was.
To be fair.
It was. Listen, mate.
Have you got a copy of it?
I went to a school where 98% of the people I worked alongside went to university, and 1/3 of them went to Oxford or Cambridge.
How many people from your school went to university?
98% of the sixth form.
Rubbish.
No, it's not
Don't
rubbish.
believe that.
No, it's not rubbish.
I do not believe that for a minute.
There were 64 of us in the.
I do not believe that for a minute.
In the upper six, right? Upper 6-1, upper 6-2.
Yeah.
And all but 2 of them went to university.
I don't believe you.
Well, I'm sorry.
You must have been one of them because you didn't go to university.
Of course I did.
You went to Trent Poly.
I went to the University of the Trent.
You went Trent Polytechnic?
I went to the University of the Trent.
Are you counting that as a university, then?
Of course I am.
Are you?
It's an Institute of Higher Education. And
that's not a university.
Well, it is a university.
No, it isn't. It might be in your eyes. In everybody else's eyes, it's not.
Okay. I tell you what, you go out of here, get in your car, drive up the M1 to Nottingham, and go and find Trent Polytechnic. It does not exist.
Well, it won't be there anymore because they changed the name.
It's University of the Trent. Now, the reason I'm asking these questions is because in China, children get 14 hours of homework a week.
That's too much.
14
I'm
hours.
sorry, that's too much.
But
I
China's
don't believe
expanding at such a rate.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Fine
Yeah.
for China, but not fine for here. And my belief is that children should do an awful lot of things at the weekends, including learning and having experiences. But if all they have to do is sit and be locked in doing schoolwork, then they're not actually absorbing anything else about the world.
Well, you see,
for example, I took my
Yeah.
kids to the Battle of Hastings. My youngest son went off with his older sister to watch Paddington Bear.
Yeah.
So he saw the movie, so that was a good thing for him. If he had to stay at home and do 2 hours of homework every single day, it would make him into a very, I would say, recalcitrant child.
Yeah, but a competitive society has to put aside these sort of, domestic bleatings that you're going on about.
We're not trying to compete with China.
Yes, we are.
China's a very different culture.
No, I don't agree. There are more Rolls-Royces sold in China now than in any other country in the world.
Life is not about having a Rolls-Royce.
China is building...
I know that your life is all about acquiring things that make you feel like you're wealthy. Most people don't want to live like that.
China is building one new coal-fired power station a week.
Well, we don't want to build coal-fired power stations here.
Well, we should. Do you know why we should?
No, because it would pollute the atmosphere.
No. Do you know what they found out now? You know that track station in Yorkshire where they stopped using coal and they now import like 3 shiploads of wood a week from Canada.
Coal substitute or something?
No, to make it wood burning.
Yeah.
They are now finding that the pollution from burning wood is as dangerous, what's the word I'm looking for? As polluting, if not worse, than it was when you were burning coal.
No, it can't be.
Well,
I don't know where you've read that.
Because I'm on the inside of these investigative
reports. Is this one of your sources up there?
No, it is a source, and it could well be the case. But what I'm saying is, one of these days, Mike, you're going to wake up and suddenly find that the Tower of London, that the Houses of Parliament are owned by Chinese property developers, OK? That is because the Chinese apply themselves to the job of improving their children's lives.
Well, that's
and
all
if that
very
means,
well. That's all
if
very
that means
well
14 hours of homework a week, then I say give it 14.
No, I would still rather
That's
live
what
in
I
this
say.
country than in China, because this country still has a lot more to offer its children than China does. And if China wants to make sure that all of its children are kind of hothoused into either becoming great athletes or into becoming, scholars, then that may well be great for them.
Well,
but it's not for me. I think children are given too much, particularly young children, are given way too much homework, and I'd be happier if they didn't get even as much as they get now.
You are breeding 2 losers.
Not true.
Your kids are going to be losers.
None of my kids will be
because you're
losers.
not competitive enough on their behalf
absolute rubbish.
to integrate them into society and get them to the very top. All I say is this: life is a very competitive game.
Yes, it is.
And unless you're up there and at the front and ahead of the game, then you will fall behind and become a straggler.
And you would know how to train children to become competitive, would you?
Well, I suppose you're going to throw it at me. I've never had children.
No, you
right?
haven't, have you?
But I know all about it. I know about the sociology aspects of it.
This is the problem with people who come up with theories.
By the way, do your children eat marmalade?
They don't really like it, funnily enough.
Now, that's weird, because since Paddington Bear, the film
Well, I told
came
you
out...
my youngest son went to see Paddington Bear at the weekend.
Oh, did he? No, he didn't tell me
thought
that.
it was great.
No,
I just said that to you.
No, you didn't.
You
No,
weren't
didn't.
listening.
I'm sorry, you didn't tell me that.
You were not listening.
You told me you walked over battlefields at the week. You didn't say anything about taking your kids to see Paddington Bear.
Yes, I did. They heard it in there. Would you like me to play it back to you?
You can't play it back to me because you didn't say it.
It's another example of you completely zoning out whenever I'm talking about
I'm
anything
relying
to do
on
with
our
my
listeners
life.
to back me up. They didn't hear you say anything about Paddington Bear.
Anything to do with my life, you have completely switch off and you pay no attention to it at all.
Anyway, the point of my story is there's been a massive upsurge in sales of marmalade.
Is that right?
Since Paddington Bear came out. And in particular amongst children between the ages of 6 and 13.
Yeah. Funnily enough, my 7-year-old, when he was about 6, we were in the supermarket, and I said, well, I wouldn't mind some marmalade. He said, I've never really had marmalade.
Yes.
Should we get a jar of marmalade?
Yes.
And so we bought a jar of marmalade, brought it home, gave it to him. He didn't really like it.
Yeah.
But I said, well, we'll leave it in the fridge, right? Next time, probably about 2 or 3 weeks later, I came down one morning because I fancied a bit of toasted marmalade. The marmalade disappeared.
Well,
It wasn't in the fridge
where
anymore.
had it gone?
It had been thrown away.
Who by?
By somebody who thinks that she's in charge of the fridge.
And how long did you have the marmalade?
About 2 weeks.
Oh, do you know you...
And I said, what have you done with the marmalade? She said, well, there wasn't enough room in the fridge, so I got rid of it.
Well, what do you mean not room in
and
the
I
fridge?
said,
For a
well,
jar of
exactly.
marmalade?
I mean, it's a massive fridge, right?
Yeah.
And there's about 4 different kinds of mayonnaise in there. There's about 8 different kinds of jam. There's also different kinds of mustard.
Yeah.
I'm like, why have you thrown the marmalade away?
I mean,
you know how strange women are. Women are very odd.
Well, they have many good qualities.
Yeah, but I think there was some reason why she threw the marmalade out, but she wasn't telling me what it was.
You can keep marmalade and jam for up to 5 years.
I'm not surprised about that.
You can.
Yeah.
You can, the same jar.
Technically, you shouldn't keep it in the fridge, actually. You keep it in a larder.
That's true. I agree with that. I agree.
And that's better
I
for
agree,
it.
but people don't have larders these days. Talking about larders and things, by the way, I
used to drive a larder.
A larder, yeah.
Just a little
Yeah,
joke.
it's funny, yeah,
Thank
funny. Listen, on Thursday I've got a horrendous story to tell you about my property.
Which one?
Well, the roof garden has been taken up because it's been
How did that
relayed.
go?
Not well.
I told you not to do it in the rain.
Not well. I
told you
didn't
they
do it.
shouldn't have done it in the rain.
I didn't do it. And you won't believe this either. I'm also having my shower room turned into a wet room.
I saw you tweeting something about waiting for Italian tiles.
Well, I didn't know they were coming from Italy. I just thought they looked like nice tiles when I went down to the tile.
Maybe you should kill two birds with one stone and put the shower outside where the terrace is, and then you don't have to worry. You can have a wet outside toilet room.
It'd be a bit cold in the winter to do that sort of thing. But it's a major problem. When I went there and ordered the tiles, he said, "Yeah, okay."
Well, why do you always getting everything redone?
No. I want a wet room, and
it's like the Fourth Bridge.
And I've got to have it retiled.
What's wrong with the old tiles?
Well, they're old, if you see what I mean.
Well, how old?
Well, they're different shape to the ones I want now.
Shape?
Yeah.
Well, what shape do you want then?
I want bigger ones now, like the size of sort of...
No, like sort of flagstone tiles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly, yeah. And also, you've got to re-angle the floor so that the water...
Is it a wet room at the moment or not?
No, it's a shower. It's a shower.
So you want to make it into a wet room?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. At the moment...
That's going to cost a few bob, isn't it?
Well, it's worth doing because when you have property, Mike, you have to reinvest in property to keep it up to standard.
I'll tell you what you should do instead.
What?
Is you should put a heated floor underneath.
What do I want a heated floor for?
Because then when you come out of the shower, the floor's nice and warm.
But I don't want a shower anymore. I want a wet room.
Well...
Don't want a shower. I've got a double-sized shower, right, and it's great.
Why have you got a double-sized shower?
Well,
you're only half the size of normal people. His face is great. If only you can see his face.
I can't believe you find that funny.
I find it hilarious.
Puerile
Why
comment.
have you got a double-sized shower?
Because I like to
sit in it. When's the last time you had somebody else in it?
Because I've got a seat in my shower.
A seat?
Yes, and I like to sit in my shower.
Deary me.
And muse on
This is
things
great.
while there's water sprinkling on your head.
Tremendous.
Helps me think.
Yeah. Tell us, well, we're going to have to hear the full story of what's gone wrong with your terrace and all that.
Well, you've heard it. You've heard it. I mean, it's a nightmare.
I want to hear exactly what went wrong. We'll find out on Thursday because Mr. Parry will be back for a 5-hour 2-mic spectacular, of course. Coming up next week, we've got 2 special Christmas shows as well, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Certainly have.
Mr. Parry, thank you very much indeed. Good luck with everything between now and Thursday.
Yes.
And we shall be back then. That was the 2 Mics podcast.
Yes, it certainly was. Don't forget, it's out every Tuesday and every Friday morning on iTunes.
And you can follow us at the 2 Mics.
So keep listening for more of MG's loose morals. Believe me, this boy hasn't got a moral fibre in his body.
And more of his bizarre buffoonery.
What?